morning, welcome back to Haywire Homestead. So today, trying to get a few things ready for winter. Feel like we're behind in regards to that, but we are expecting a frost tonight. So what I really need to do is get some plastic on the open areas of my chicken coops. That way they're not a big, breeze can get in there and they have a draft and then they get chilled. So I'm gonna just need simple staple gun as well as some plastic, and we buy it in a big huge roll. We use it underneath of the pallets whenever we stack our hay to keep the moisture, to just create a moisture barrier. And then we also use it for this. Sometimes we can reuse it, not always. It depends on how bad the winter is and if we get a big wind that starts to tear it in the late part of winter. But I'll go ahead and show you guys when we get started. Okay, so the bunny hutch is going to need a cover and then sections of the large coop. This coop over here, I'm actually not going to cover. I am going to give them some additional straw for the night. However, we've got another coop that we have been in the process of trying to get finished up that is going to replace that. That is an old bunny hutch. It is falling apart. The doors on the back are going bad, so it needs to be, the other one needs to be completed in a hurry. Like I said, feel like we're behind. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and show y'all what I'm doing. So I started with the little bunny hutch that our game birds are in and just wrapping it around. There is a door that we feed, the bottom door down there. I won't be able to cover that one up, but I can cover everything else up, including this up here. This top opens up. It's got a lot of really nice access points. I can open a door here, a door down there, and then the whole roof lifts up. So I'm going to get as much of this covered up, and then we'll head on over to the next coop. The thing that I really like about our coop is that we originally set it up as a coop and run, and we now converted it entirely to just a coop and gave them a very big run outside. But because we left the door just hardware cloth, as well as a lower section down there, in the summer I can pull this off and they get plenty of light, plenty of airflow in the summer when it's really hot and humid, so my birds aren't getting overheated. But in the winter, we have to cover it up, like I said, to knock out all those drafts to keep them from getting chilled. Chickens can keep themselves pretty darn warm on their own as long as they are in a draft-free environment. I mean, people have chickens in places like Alaska, Canada, everywhere else, and it's really cold. And most people do not use, any type of a heating element, heat light, kind of like the same heat lights that you would use if you were brooding baby chickens. Most people don't do that, and one of the reasons why is that your birds start to get acclimated to that heat source, and then what happens if your power goes out or the bulb blows or the light breaks? Then they don't have what they're already used to. If they're already acclimated to the cold weather, they're going to huddle together and they're going to fluff up their feathers and they're going to stay warm on their own. So all I have to do, because while we don't get quite as cold, we don't get as cold as Alaska, and I used to live in Alaska, so I know. laying underneath of it, and I've just got to slide it back so the open area behind it will actually be pushed up against this coop, so there won't be a draft from there. But works out really nice. And it lets some light in as well. And if it's really super cold, which is, I've never really locked them in totally. I mean, I could lock it up if it was super, super cold during the day and just keep them in here with food and water, but normally I don't have to do that. I don't think I've ever done that. But at night when it gets down and they go to bed to go to roost, I'm going to make sure that we keep them warm. We do in our area have the danger of frostbite on wattles and combs and things like that. So, you know, we want to make sure we eliminate the drafts, but we also have to make sure we have some ventilation. And the entire upper section of the coop allows for moisture to escape. So that way we don't wind up with a bunch of moisture buildup in here, which can cause some issues with frostbite. Okay, so now that we got the chickens all ready, I'm trying to figure out what to do about the ducks. Now, my guess would be they're just going to do what ducks are going to do, and as long as they can get in the barn out of the weather, they'll be fine. The nesting box that I built for them that they don't like, I moved it into this barn because they seem to be wanting to lay in this barn. So I'm hoping next time I find some eggs, I'm going to put a couple of them in this box and see if maybe that will entice them to lay. Now, I have another girl that's gray, just like her, except for she didn't have any white on her head. And she was disappearing. Pretty much would only show up first thing in the morning, eat breakfast, and then she would take off. We couldn't figure out where she was going. And finally saw her fly up over here, just like this girl is. And see, they like it in here. And we started looking, because I found eggs up here, right up in there. See that? Looks like a beam. It's actually not a beam. It's two boards sandwiched together with one on the bottom to create almost like a little cubby up in there in this where the support is. Well, all the way over there in that back corner, last night I found 24 duck eggs. Ironically, they were all good. We float tested them. We had duck eggs for dinner. It was delicious. So I'm hoping if I put the nesting box in here, put a couple eggs in here, in this box, they will stop laying up there, because the only way I can get up there is with a ladder, and it's a really tight fit to try to see what I'm doing and be able to get a hold of eggs. So I'm going to go up there right now and check and see if they laid any in there this morning, see if we get any more eggs. So I'm going to take a look up here and see what we got. And yeah, there's a duck up here. Let me see if I can find, I know, sweetheart. So we have an egg, one. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of the feathers and bedding, she's tried to make a makeshift nest up here, out, and I'm gonna put it in my nesting box with the egg that's up here, and I'm gonna try to get her down and see if maybe I can entice her to sit on the other nest. Somehow I don't think this is going to work, but it's worth a shot. I can't be climbing this ladder in my horse run every day to get eggs. I guess if I have to, I will, but I'd really like to try to encourage them to not lay up here. I've got some chicken wire. We may go ahead and try to block this off as well. My only concern is if I do that and they're not wanting to lay somewhere else, and they're, you know, where I know, then I'm going to wind up with them moving to another weird spot that I won't know where it is, and then I'm going to be duck egg hunting again. At least, even though this is a pain in the butt, I at least know where the eggs are at this point. Hopefully sticking the egg in that nesting box down there and putting it inside this barn, since this is the barn they want to lay in, hopefully it will get them to stop laying eggs up here. And if we can get them changed over, we'll do that. If not, yeah, we might have to go ahead and try to block this off to keep them from coming up here and laying eggs. But goofy, goofy duck. And I know she's not the only one laying. I have one, two, four hens, I believe, currently that are laying, and 3 more that will start laying. But I don't expect them to lay for another month or two. Muscovy ducks are more of a meat duck. They don't lay a ton of eggs. You know, I got them more for the fact that they forage so well. They a little more multi-purpose. We can eat the duck eggs, but we also want to raise them and hopefully they tend to be a broody duck too. So I can let them brood some eggs, and then we can raise the babies for meat. And I won't even have to use the incubator for that, which would be kind of cool. They're fairly common in this area. A lot of people like to keep Muscovies. They're great for getting rid of the mosquitoes and everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and move the egg and some of the nesting material that she has into the nesting box that we have, and see if I can't get her to sit there. And hopefully we'll see how it works. It's always an experiment to see what you can and can't do. This is our first time having ducks, so it's very different. And the other good thing is since they started laying eggs, I already have someone wanting to buy some, and if they can keep up with 1 or 2 customers, the Muscovies can, as well as, you know, me using them for my own use. That's great. If we find that we get where the duck eggs are really popular, then I'm going to look into possibly getting a heavier laying duck, such as maybe a khaki Campbell or something like that. But if we do those, we're going to have to build a pen for them, because I believe they like to go on ponds and things like that, and we have neighbors with ponds, and I don't want my ducks going in their ponds and aggravating and, you know, bothering my neighbors at all. I'll try to keep things, we're a little close to everybody, and I want to make sure and keep the peace as much as possible. At some point in time, probably not for several years from now, we will be moving further out in the country. You know, we're on a private lane, which makes it really nice. There's only 10 houses, and everyone has 5 or more acres. So we're not super close, but most of the people here don't have animals, have farm animals. There's only one person on our road that does, other than us. So, you know, we want to be kind to our neighbors. And I do give eggs and produce sometimes, just to also kind of sweeten that deal, so they put up with all of my homesteading shenanigans. We'll see what happens with these duck eggs. I just thought I'd give you guys a little bit of an update on them and show you how I winterize the coops. That's it for now. Take care. That's it for now. Please like and subscribe, and y'all take care. We'll see you again next time.